Shark Media. Hello and welcome to Ghost. This episode is titled The Haunting of the Veiled Yurei, The Curse of Midori.
In the shadowed heart of an ancient Japanese village, shrouded in the mist of forgotten times, there whispered a tale so chilling it curdled the blood of all who heard it. This was the legend of Midori, a Yurei whose tragic and malevolent past had cursed her to an eternity of torment and vengeance. Midori was once the wife of a samurai, living a life of both privilege and profound isolation within the confines of her husband's estate. Her beauty was the talk of the village, but it was her jealousy and fierce pride that defined her. The discovery of her husband's betrayal was a spark that ignited the inferno of her wrath. The night air was thick with tension, a prelude to the impending doom. The estate, once alive with the sounds of laughter and the warmth of love, fell eerily silent, as if the very walls braced themselves for the unfolding tragedy. Midori's footsteps were silent, yet each step resonated with the weight of her fury as she approached the room where her husband and his lover lay entwined in their forbidden embrace. The scene before her was a grotesque mockery of her own marital bed, a tableau of betrayal that shattered the last vestiges of her restraint. With a scream that tore through the silence, a primal cry of both anguish and rage, Midori unleashed her vengeance. In her hands, she wielded the very instruments of the samurai's honor, his swords, turning them against the man she had once loved and the woman who had stolen his affection. The room was soon awash with a crimson that reflected the moonlight, a macabre painting of her retribution. Her husband and his lover, caught in the most vulnerable of moments, could only stare in horror as the specter of their wronged wife became the harbinger of their doom. But Midori's fury did not quench with their lives. The fire that raged within her heart demanded a grander, more devastating climax. With the same hands that had lovingly tended the estate's gardens, she set fire to the very foundations of her existence. The flames, hungry and unrelenting, consumed everything, a roaring beast that devoured the evidence of her life and her sanity. As the estate was engulfed in a hellish blaze, Midori stood amidst the inferno, her silhouette a dark figure against the raging fire. The beauty that had once been her pride now twisted into a visage of vengeance, her screams of despair melding with the crackling of the flames. Her act of revenge, a final damning testament to her betrayal and pain, sealed her fate as she took her own life, her spirit forever bound to the ashes of her once magnificent home. However, death did not bring Midori peace. Instead, she arose as a Yurei, her spirit bound to the scorched earth of her former home, her visage forever hidden beneath a veil of ash, her eyes burning with an insatiable hunger for vengeance. Night after night, she wandered the ruins, her mournful wails and the stench of burnt wood a constant reminder of her presence. It was said that to gaze upon her face was to see one's own demise, for Midori's curse was not just her own to bear. She sought to inflict upon others the pain and betrayal she had suffered, her spirit lashing out at those who dared to come too close to the remnants of her past life. Enter Daichi, a young man with a fascination for the supernatural, driven by the thrill of fear and the desire to prove his bravery. Armed with little more than tales of Midori's haunting and a lantern to light his way, he ventured into the ruins one fateful night, intent on uncovering the truth of the Yurei's curse. As he stepped into the heart of the ruins, the air grew thick with cold, and an oppressive silence enveloped him. The faint light of his lantern flickered, casting long shadows that seemed to twist and writhe with a life of their own. Then, without warning, a chilling voice pierced the silence. "Why do you seek me, mortal?" The voice was a cold whisper, sending shivers down Daichi's spine. "I wish to see your truth, to understand your pain," Daichi responded, his voice betraying a hint of fear. A soft, mocking laughter filled the air, and then from the shadows, Midori emerged. Her form was spectral, a dark silhouette against the night, her face hidden beneath her ashen veil. "To know my pain is to share in my curse," she whispered, her voice tinged with malice. "Look upon me and know the true face of vengeance." Daichi, compelled by a mixture of fear and curiosity, lifted his lantern. As its light fell upon Midori's face, the veil seemed to dissolve, revealing her charred and twisted features, a grotesque reflection of her tormented soul. Her eyes, burning with an otherworldly fire, locked onto his, and in that moment, Daichi felt a terror so profound it threatened to consume him. He stumbled backward, his heart racing as Midori advanced, her form seeming to blur and stretch, enveloping him in darkness. Visions of her past, her rage, her betrayal flooded his mind, each more horrifying than the last. He could hear her screams, feel the heat of the fire that had consumed her, and in the depths of his despair, he understood the true horror of her curse. With every ounce of strength, Daichi broke free from her grasp, fleeing the ruins as Midori's laughter echoed behind him. He did not stop running until the ruins were but a distant shadow, and even then, the haunting image of Midori's veiled face lingered in his mind, a chilling reminder of the night he looked upon the true face of vengeance. The tale of Midori's haunting spread throughout the village, a warning to all who dared to seek out the veiled Yurei. Her curse remained, a spectral wound on the landscape, her story a testament to the darkness that festers in the heart of betrayal and the unyielding grip of vengeance beyond the grave. As the weeks passed since Daichi's terrifying encounter with Midori, the image of her twisted, vengeful spirit haunted his dreams. Yet, within his heart, a seed of compassion for the tormented Yurei had taken root. Daichi couldn't shake the feeling that Midori's spirit deserved peace, a release from the chains of her own rage and despair. Compelled by a sense of duty to the suffering soul, Daichi embarked on a journey to learn the ancient rituals of appeasement, consulting with priests and scholars who held knowledge of the supernatural. He learned of a ritual that could soothe Midori's tormented spirit, offering her the peace she was denied in life. "Midori, I have returned not to fear you, but to offer you peace. Your pain, your rage has been heard. It is time for you to find rest." The shadows stirred, and Midori's spectral form emerged from the darkness, her presence less menacing, yet still tinged with sorrow. Daichi, showing no fear, began the ritual. He laid out offerings of incense and flowers, reciting ancient prayers to guide Midori's spirit towards the light. As he spoke, the air around them began to shimmer with a gentle luminescence, the oppressive atmosphere lifting like a heavy fog at dawn. Midori's form, once a manifestation of her torment, began to soften, the harsh lines of anger and revenge fading away. In their place, a serene, peaceful expression emerged. For the first time in centuries, the agony that had consumed her was replaced by a sense of tranquility. Midori looked at Daichi, and in her ethereal eyes, there was gratitude. As she disappeared, the night returned to stillness, the ruins now silent, free of the haunting that had once defined them. Daichi watched, a sense of bittersweet relief washing over him.
Ghost is a Calaroga Shark Media production, written and hosted by Alexander Ian McIntyre, produced by Mark Francis, executive producers Mark Francis and John McDermott. Portions of this podcast may have been created with the assistance of AI. Calaroga Shark Media.